You hear one more rumor about a massive Social Security Christmas bonus or a secret holiday check, stop scrolling and listen closely. There is a lot of noise out there right now, and if you are living on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, or any fixed income, you cannot afford to be confused about when your money is coming. In this Christmas update, I am going to walk you through exactly what is real, what is rumor, and what you can actually expect to see in your bank account as we get close to Christmas. We are going to talk about early deposits, holiday delays, so called surprise bonuses, and what to do if your money does not show up when you thought it would. And I promise you this, by the end of this video, you will know more than most headlines, more than most social media posts, and you will feel calmer and more prepared heading into the holidays. First, let me speak directly to the people this really affects. I am talking to seniors who are counting every dollar for rent, groceries, and medication, to disabled workers on SSDI, to widows and widowers on survivor benefits, to veterans who served this country and now depend on that monthly deposit to keep the lights on. If a payment lands one day early, it can mean you eat a real meal. If it lands one day late, it can mean overdraft fees, shut-off notices, and panic. I know many of you have been through this before. Every December, the rumors start, the headlines get louder, and people on social media start promising miracle Christmas checks that somehow never show up in your account. And every year I hear from seniors who plan Christmas dinner or gifts around a bonus that was never real, and now they feel embarrassed, angry, and even more stressed. So let us do something different this year. Instead of chasing hype, we are going to walk through the facts step by step in plain English so you can make decisions based on reality, not on wishful thinking or clickbait. Think of this as your honest Christmas briefing from someone who has actually read the Social Security rules, Treasury guidance, and bank holiday schedules so you do not have to. Let us start with the most important truth you need to hear clearly. Social Security does not shut down for Christmas. Your benefits do not disappear. The federal government does not cancel checks just because the calendar hits Christmas Day. What actually happens is much less dramatic and much more predictable, and once you understand it, a lot of that holiday anxiety can settle down. Here is the basic rule. When a regular payment date for Social Security or SSI falls on a federal holiday or on a weekend, the payment does not get pushed later. It gets moved earlier to the nearest banking day before that holiday or weekend. That means Social Security is actually trying to keep you from waiting longer, not making you wait more. Now, some groups feel these changes much more than others. And this is where a lot of the Christmas surprise talk really begins. If you receive SSI, your payment is usually scheduled for the first day of the month. When that first day lands on a weekend or very close to Christmas and New Year holidays, SSI often shows up earlier than normal. Sometimes people even see two SSI payments land in December, and that is where you start hearing words like double check, bonus, or Christmas surprise. But here is the honest contrast. That second deposit is almost never extra money. It is the same amount you would normally receive at the start of January, simply paid a little earlier so that your check does not collide with holiday closures. If you do not realize that, it is very easy to think, this is wonderful. I got a free bonus. And then when January comes and there is no deposit, it feels like Social Security took something away from you. So I want you to be prepared instead of surprised. If you see an SSI deposit come early around Christmas, treat it as January money, not as extra December money. Write it down, mark your calendar, remind yourself that you are simply being paid ahead and that there will be no second wave of cash when the new year starts. That one mindset shift alone can be the difference between barely scraping through January and falling behind on rent or utilities. Now, let us talk about Social Security, retirement, and SSDI because those payments follow a different pattern. Most people in those programs are paid based on the day of the month their birthday lands in, which puts them in what we call the second Wednesday group, the third Wednesday group, or the fourth Wednesday group. There is also a special group of people who have been on benefits since before the late 1990s, and they are usually paid on the third day of the month. Here, the same holiday rule still applies. If your normal payday lands on a federal holiday or weekend, your deposit is moved earlier to the last regular business day before that date. When Christmas falls in the middle of a week, Treasury and SSA simply adjust their processing so that money keeps flowing through the system. Okay? But here is where things can feel confusing, and this is the part that keeps many people awake at night. Sometimes Social Security sends the money exactly when they are supposed to, but your bank does not release it right away. Different different banks have different policies about when they post deposits, how they handle weekends, what kind of security reviews they run, and how they manage the heavy holiday transaction rush. It is very common for one person to see money early while another waits and worries at home. So if you have not seen your deposit yet, but someone you know already has, do not automatically assume that Social Security forgot about you or that your benefits have been cut. Most of the time, the issue is not that your money was never sent, but that it is sitting in a kind of waiting room inside the banking system. That is frustrating. And it is scary when you are down to your last few dollars, but panicking in that moment will not make the bank move faster. What will help is following a clear plan. Whenever a holiday like Christmas is involved, I want you to think in terms of business days, not calendar days, and definitely not hours. Give it at least 3 full business days from the date you were supposed to be paid before you assume something is really wrong. During that window, check your online banking if you have it and look for words like pending, processing, or sometimes the deposit is already on its way and simply has not been fully released to you yet. If you still do not see anything after those few days, then it is time to take the next steps. Lend. The first thing I want you to do at that point is log in to your My Social Security account if you have one, or create it if you do not. Inside that account, you can see the official payment date that Social Security has on file for you and confirm whether the benefit was actually issued. If the system shows that your benefit was paid on time, that is a strong sign that the problem is with your bank, not with Social Security. In that case, call the bank, ask for the deposits department if you can, and say calmly that Social Security is showing your payment as sent and you would like them to check for any pending or held deposits. Sometimes that one phone call is enough to get someone on the banking side to push your deposit through. Now, if your My Social Security account shows no recent payment issued, or if you are not able to access your account at all, then after those business days have passed, it is time to contact Social Security directly. When you call, be prepared for long hold times, especially around the holidays, and know that the person on the other end is following a process. They cannot always open a formal trace on the very first day you are worried because they have to wait out that same window to see if the payment resolves on its own. But once enough time has passed, they can start a payment trace, confirm the routing information, check for return deposits, and if needed, reissue the benefit. It is not fast, and I will never pretend it is, but there is a process, and you are not left without any recourse. While we are talking about surprises around Christmas, we also need to have an honest conversation about something that feels like the exact opposite of a bonus, and that is unexpected reductions in your check. In the last few years, Social Security has become much more aggressive about collecting overpayments and adjusting benefits. Dot when they think someone was paid more than they should have been. For many seniors and disabled people, the first sign of this is not a clear, easy to understand letter, but a smaller deposit suddenly showing up in the bank. When that happens right around Christmas time, it can feel cruel and terrifying, especially if you were already stretched thin. Sometimes this reduction is tied to Medicare premium increases. Sometimes it is part of an overpayment recovery plan, and sometimes it is the result of a change in your income or living situation that Social Security finally processed. LMBNG. If you notice that your benefit has gone down, the very first thing to do is check your mail for any recent letters from Social Security, even ones you may have set aside because the language seemed intimidating. Those letters often explain whether this is an overpayment collection, a Medicare deduction change, or a recalculation of your benefit, and they usually include information about your rights to appeal or request a waiver. If you truly cannot afford the reduction and it is causing serious hardship, do not be afraid to ask for that waiver or for a more reasonable repayment plan. The worst thing you can do is ignore the problem, because that does not make it go away and only makes it harder to fix later. If you need help reading or understanding the notice, you can contact a trusted relative, a local senior center, a legal aid office, or a benefits counselor in your area. Some people feel uncomfortable asking for this kind of help, especially if they are used to handling everything on their own. However, needing support with a complicated letter or an unexpected change in your benefits does not mean there is something wrong with you. It simply means the system can be difficult to navigate. You have already spent years working, contributing, and paying into that system. Asking for guidance now is a practical step, not a failure. Vice, one of the most effective things you can do around the holiday season and the start of the new year is to line up every form of legitimate assistance you qualify for, so that your Social Security payment is not your only source of support. In the next part of this video, I will explain specific programs that may help with food, heating, and medical expenses, because the goal is not just to manage this one holiday period, but to create more stability for the months ahead. For now, stay focused on the steps you can take. As we end this update, remember that you are more than a line in a budget or a case number. You have been through many difficult situations already. Feeling stressed or worn down right now does not define your value. It reflects the pressure of the circumstances you are facing. Take a moment to pause, follow the practical steps we discussed, protect yourself from scams, and look into every program that might apply to you. You do not have to handle everything completely on your own. There are resources and communities available to offer information and support as Praz. You move through the holiday season and into the new year.